Get ready for the Urban Guide.
On the Food Lounge, only on the Urban Guide. Come on, let's check it out.
Edited with saffron.
The Urban Guide brought to you by Cocosia Artisan Chocolate, by Amreen, SIT Limited, Alanora Annie Signature Salons, Yoko Sizzlers and Cooper Dermatology. Official radio partner, 105.4 Radio Spice. Media partners, Filmfare Middle East and Salt and Pepper.
Laugh like you're 10, party like you're 20, travel like you're 30, think like you're 40 and advise like you're 50. I'm not 50, I'm not entitled to the heavy stuff. As for me, it's a new day, a new beginning, a new show to whatever you want on the Urban Guide with me, your host, Bhairavi. In fact, this time we're all set to get your party mode on, and what better to do it with than the Dubai Music Week, an event witnessing the very best from the world of music right here, only for you.
The Dubai Music Week is a yearly international event dedicated to the music industry. It's one and only music trade show in the Middle East, and it came with a big bang for the first time ever in Dubai.
It was an honor and a pleasure. It was really fun to do it, especially that most of the artists are friends and we know each other. And it was a great opportunity to showcase regional talent.
The week-long extravaganza had musicians, producers, artists, bands who exhibited, promoted, networked, and all of it in the magical city of Dubai.
This is not my first performance, but this is one of a kind. It's a different vibe. We got all the judges here, Timbaland, will.i.am, and Quincy Jones, and we just, like, it's a different vibe, but I love it. It is an absolutely great opportunity. I believe that this is what we need out here in the Middle East. We need our faces to be seen, our voices to be heard, so it is a great opportunity. Whether you win or not, you've done what you do on the stage and people heard your voice. This is what's important.
Just keep at it. It's all about hard work and just believing in your talent and just kind of pushing yourself and making sure that it's your passion and it's something that you want to continue. And there's gonna be hard bumps and it's never smooth sailing. Just keep on doing what you're doing. Just it's all about the passion and it will show, at the end.
Someone has rightly said that music is the food for your soul. Well, keeping on this, let's take you to a musical evening filled with drama, arts, culture, all brought together in a beautiful mix with the dance of the Devdasi.
Dance performances in Dubai are not uncommon, but when a dancer tells you that dance is not entertainment or that dancers are not adulteresses, it sure calls for a pause. We are talking about the dance of the Devdasi, the most emphatic statement, a unique dance drama stirring the conscience of local arts circles. Devdasis are what they rightly called temple dancers. The Mayavi dance style is a combination of Indian classical dance and world dance styles, who've even paved the way for the South Indian dance form of Bharatanatyam. This form has always fascinated dance as a medium of worship, education and enlightenment that is sure very transformational. The spectacular performance was not only for a particular set of audience, but anyone and everyone who appreciated art and culture.
The history of dance of the Devadasis, if we mention, is the history of Bharatanatyam in specific language. But what we are depicting is a drama which is very, very personalized. It's more than just a story of dance. It's a story of all the dancers primarily who take up dance as their lifestyle.
Dance of the Devadasi. It's a beautiful concept which tells the story and the journey of dance. Not many people know the origins of dance, not many people know what went behind it, the social reformations, and this is exactly what we want to try and portray.
I feel so mesmerized with this whole environment celebrating art in its finest form. So now, though, time to enjoy a quick little break so that the show can go on and on and on. Okay, the Urban Guide will be back with me, your host, Bhairavi. Well, for the show to go on, you and I must now go to the food lounge, as I believe that food tastes better when had in good company. So let's taste, celebrate and enjoy good food at the food lounge with Nicole.
Your body isn't a temple. It's an amusement park. And you should enjoy the ride. And that's exactly what we're going to do today as we take a culinary ride into the Japanese world of sushi making. Only on the food lounge. So, Chef Brio, we're going to start with the California Maki roll, right? And it's a very well-known roll.
Yes, it's an inside-out roll.
The ingredients for California Maki roll are tomato, kani, avocado, sushi rice, tobiko, wasabi, nori. So, Chef Rio, what's our first step?
Cut of avocado first.
Okay. So does it make the roll a little more moist?
Yes,
yeah?
The moisture from the avocado. Next, kani.
Kani, which is crab meat, correct?
Yes.
Crab meat, or everything.
Next, tamago.
Tamago, which is?
It's sweet egg roll.
Sweet egg roll. So why do you do that?
As otherwise it all sticks to his hands. This is a short grain rice, which is glutinous.
And then it has vinegar and
vinegar, sugar and salt.
Salt, all of that.
So he spreads the rice on top of the nori roll.
And nori is edible seaweed.
Yeah.
And you get different kinds of seaweed, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
So next we have the tobiko.
Yeah, tobiko from the flying fish roe.
Flying fish roe. So roe is essentially the eggs.
Yes.
Yes. So roe is essentially eggs. So you turn it over once.
Yeah. And he puts the mayonnaise down the middle.
So just a very little bit.
Yeah.
So it doesn't overpower everything else?
No. Just adds to the moisture.
Okay. And then the tamago.
Yeah.
Kani and?
Avocado.
And that's all that goes into it?
Yeah. And then he rolls it.
Okay. So everything essentially stays in whole pieces until he dices it.
Yes, yeah.
And the rolling is very important? Because
absolutely, yeah. This is what, if you don't roll it tight enough, then it will all fall apart.
All right. Oh, and that's so beautiful. Look at that. So now we're just going to cut it into, how many parts do you cut it? 6 pieces. And this is young ginger. It's not just any ginger. It has to be young ginger, correct, Chef Rio? Yes. Look at Chef Rio. He's so absolutely adept at using those. Let's see how I do in a while. There you go, a little perfect piece of wasabi. And there you have the California Maki roll. So now we just got done with the delicious California Maki roll, which was absolutely sumptuous. And now, chefs, we're going to cook okonomiyaki, correct? Okonomiyaki.
Yes, right, yeah.
I got it right. Okay, so Chef Rio, do you want to tell us what okonomiyaki is?
What okonomiyaki is a vegetable pancake.
And it means that you can put whatever you want on it because...
Yeah, there's different types of flavourings that they put in there.
So it's whatever you like.
Yeah, you can have meat, you can have fish, seafood.
So it's to your liking. You can tailor it to whatever you want.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. The ingredients for okonomiyaki are cabbage, water, beni shoga, white onion, eggs, aonori, and bonito flakes. Chef Rio, what's our first step?
First step
is cabbage, right?
Yeah,
Chef Jonathan?
white cabbage.
White cabbage, and it's
Yeah.
finely diced.
Very, very finely sliced. Then he's putting in the white onion.
White onion, all right.
Then this is pickled ginger also, but it's salt. It's very salty.
It is very salty
Yeah,
compared to the gari.
absolutely, yeah.
So
you only use a very small amount.
Very little. And what's it called, Chef Rio, in Japanese?
beni shoga.
Beni shoga. And next we have yams.
Yeah, this is very, very finely grated.
There's
So
nothing
it's-
else with it.
No, it's just raw grated yam.
Oh,
Just
right.
Grated very, very fine.
So it's not like cooked before or anything. It's just
No.
grated. All right. And this is the...
Batter. So
And
this basically binds everything together,
Mhm.
and then he mixes it all together. We've just got egg, water, and flour.
Oh, and one egg. Okay. So, Chef, this is a pancake that comes with everything in it already.
Absolutely, yeah.
So, should we go on to the pan? Yeah? So, now we're just waiting for the pan to heat. All right. And what oil do we use?
Just straightforward vegetable oil.
All right. Ooh, that's steaming. Should we put the whole bowl in?
Absolutely, yeah.
So, it's a very thick pancake.
It's quite thick, yeah. The pan has to be very hot. You hear the sizzling. It needs to be sizzling else it will stick.
So, it develops like a crust underneath. Does it
Yeah.
get crusty?
Yeah.
So, Chef Rio, how long does it take to cook?
Like 4 to 5 minutes.
45 minutes
Yeah.
on one side.
Yes.
All right. Woo. And there we flipped, and you can see it's a beautiful golden brown color on the underneath. Let's play. Yes, that looks beautiful, Chef Rio. And there you have it, people. Okonomiyaki. So I would just like to say thank you to Chef Jonathan and to Chef Rio. It was very educational.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having us. It was
Our
wonderful. I've learned so many Japanese words and I couldn't be happier. And now I get to go and taste them all by myself, right? I don't have to share with anybody,
No,
correct?
Absolutely.
Exactly. I'm going to eat it all by myself. I hope you enjoyed our wonderful Japanese experience here today with our two wonderful chefs at the Grand Hyatt Dubai. And I hope to see you again next week at Food Lounge.
Good food makes me miss home. I can't rush home right now, but we can rush in for a little break. Go enjoy a little break and be back for some more action only on The Urban Guide with me, your host, Bhelvi. Now I know why they say time and tide wait for no one. I mean, didn't we just start? And look, we're already in the last lap of the show. But this one, definitely an interesting one because it's time to dream. It's time to go to the dreamland. In fact, a dream castle with Nicole.
Today we're going to explore a very eclectic and artistic dream castle, giving you a number of tips on how to build your dream home, your very own dream castle. And let's meet the lady behind the masterpiece, Daisy Line. Hello, Daisy. It's so nice to meet you. Let me get that for you.
Thank you.
You have such a fabulous house. It's so warm and cozy, and it feels like anybody's welcome at all times. So, Daisy, tell me, what inspired you to design your house like this? To make it so very artistic.
Well, you've seen all the pictures of my family.
I have.
And to me, family and home are the same things. So whatever is happening in my home is for my family and extended my family and my friends, because friends are like family too.
Of course.
So everything in the house, all the pieces that I've collected, all the different photo frames, some of the books, some of the pieces, some of the furniture, they all have a story to tell.
So Daisy, tell me about your favourite parts of your home.
The favourite parts, they would have to be the ones that have wood. They would have to be the ones that have colour.
Oh.
So the piece that's in my dining room, I renovated, I rescued from somebody's garage, which is a great thing to do with furniture. Very cheap and easy to do. Gives you much satisfaction to actually sand something down and give it a creative
do it
new
yourself?
life. Oh, absolutely. I have tools. Just an old piece of wood from the desert, looking at it when it's all distressed and sun-bleached. Sand that down, oil it, and put it in your garden, or use it as a piece in your house on the wall. Absolutely fantastic. You can't design wood grain. God designed that,
Exactly.
and he did it very well. So we don't mess about with it. But anything with wood grain in it or any natural fabrics, absolutely fantastic to decorate your home with, and quite cheap and easy to do.
And very responsible, because that's really easy on the environment as well, so that's
Absolutely.
wonderful.
Remnants of fabric, cheap remnants of fabric, absolutely fantastic. You can change the whole look of your room by just scattering bits and pieces around your room. It'll vibrate with everything else that's going on. It'll give it an energy. I particularly like red accent. Because I like red, because I like energy, because I like high action.
So do you have any other tips about, say, your outdoors and how you bring it inside? Because I can see you have a lot of like little twigs and plants and dried flowers everywhere.
Absolutely. I keep most flowers that people give me because it's really nice to dry them. And again, they make a very, very effective table decoration, or you can use them at Christmas, or you can use them at, you know, any other celebration to decorate your table when people are eating. But I love wood. I can't tell you how much I love wood. I don't think building your dream castle is a 1 or 2 week affair. I think it's a lifetime's commitment to building your home, to making it comfortable, to using everything that you find to make it fantastic.
Daisy, we just want to say thank you with a little gift from our friends at Caucasia. They're wonderful artisan chocolates made with the finest ingredients you can find in Dubai.
Chocolate.
Wonderful.
You are coming round again to help me eat these, aren't you?
Of course I am. I'm never leaving.
Fantastic.
That's it.
This is recycling with friends.
That's brilliant.
What can we make out of the box?
What can we make? Oh, a jewellery box.
Jewellery
or a little
box.
box for dried flowers.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm certainly going to use the...
Bag again?
Yeah, absolutely.
There you go. And that's Daisy for y'all.
Sometimes I feel like I'm really unfair with you guys. One moment making you dream, the next moment snapping you back to reality. This time, however, you're going to thank me for it, because it's time to be a part of a conversation with power couple and your very own Manju Ramanan over Tete with Saffron.
It is said that a diamond is just another piece of coal that took stress really well. On my segment today, a tete-a-tete with Saffron, I have a beautiful glittering couple, Praneeth and Kanan Naheta, who own Gehna Jewelry Boutique. Praneeth, tell us your journey from Mumbai to Dubai and your association with jewelry.
I used to go and assist my father and my grandfather in the shop and see how things are done. I used to do small chores and just assist them and observe and learn. I started getting passionate about jewelry at the age of 16, and I wanted to pursue this further.
You're from the Jaipur Jewels family. Tell us about your association with jewelry.
Well, it's been almost 17 years since I've been married into the Jaipur Jewels family, and coming from a design and fashion background, being fond of jewelry was very natural to me. And I was lucky that I got to get involved in all areas of jewelry, whether it was marketing, exhibitions, designing, creating, manufacturing.
Tell us, is your wife your muse?
Actually, yes, because she was the one who, after a 10-year gap, asked me to take the designing again and start creating one-of-a-kind pieces for the clients in Dubai.
I met Praneeth almost 20 years back. Both of us were in our last year of commerce. He was doing his BCom and I was in my second last year. And we just became friends. After that, he moved on to do his GIA and I moved on to do my fashion designing. But we did keep in touch, not realizing that one day we'll fall in love and get married.
Tell us about Gehna Bespoke.
Well, Gehna Bespoke is a customized diamond jewelry line which we do at Gehna Jewelry Boutique. It's individual piece customized and designed for a client.
How does a fashion designer become a jewelry designer?
See, basically designing is all about creation, innovation, and then a stickler for perfection. So you can easily transcend from one form of designing to the other. It's all about being passionate, and ultimately the God is in the detail.
Which was the first jewelry piece that you created and gifted to your wife?
Well, the first jewelry piece that I designed for her was a heart ring. It was a heart in the center with two hands folding, and when you open the hands, the heart shows out. So I made that specially for her, and I actually proposed to her, I think, with that ring.
Oh, how beautiful that is. Tell us, Kanan, what are you wearing?
I'm wearing a pair of jhumkas, long earrings. This has got a very intricate kind of workmanship on it called chatai ka kaam. Small pieces of rubies are inlaid, and then there is kundan or 24 karat ribbon done to set it in place. And then it's been strung with basra pearls and yellow sapphire beads.
What a pleasure it has been to meet this glittering couple. Thank you, Kanan. Thank you, Praneet, for being on the show.
Thank you so much, Manju. It was our pleasure.
You know what? Happiness has always been my lifestyle. I always have it, and I think from now on, you guys are going to give me company as well. And on that high note, I would like to take your leave, but I leave you with a promise to be back with a bigger bang on The Urban Guide with me, your host, Bhairavi.